Good morning, 20s. How are you guys? It is almost the Pisces new moon, and the energies heavy. They're heavy. You might be seeing your divine masculine go quiet, withdraw, go within. They're processing some stuff about them, and if you have a history of trauma, you might be taking that hard. You might be thinking that it has something to do with you. So let's see what the divine masculine wants to know. Simply love. Also, guys, if you want a reading with me, I do offer twin flame readings. Head to www.hecatesmoontarot.com. I am having a sale on my readings at the moment. If you guys are watching on YouTube, head to the link in the description box. Simply love and strengthening bonds. So the divine masculine's higher self is wanting you to know today that they are really coaching. I always see this as the divine masculine coaching their inner child. Okay. And the divine feminine here. So they're really looking toward the divine feminine and really looking towards strengthening the bond between the two. Let's see what else. So the only thing that is real right now is love, and if that is all you can manage to focus on, then focus on it. Lead. Okay, so divine masculine's higher self is being led. They're being led to strengthening the bonds within themselves and within you. Okay, so this shutdown response that they're going through, this is a lack of it's an inability to express their needs, and also divine masculines are used to denying their feelings or denying how it is they feel about a certain thing. If they're overwhelmed, if they're needing some time to themselves, if they need this or that, they often deny that need because of, a lot of the time, their upbringing. They weren't taught that it's okay to advocate for your needs and to express them. So they often deny them. So the best thing that the divine feminine can do right now is acknowledge this and see that their distance is an attempt at regulating themselves. And just because it's in a way that is different to how the divine feminine does, it doesn't mean that the divine masculine is inherently trying to get away from the divine feminine. Their need for space has nothing to do with you, divine feminine. But your abandonment wound is being triggered by this. It is every time. But you know this now. It's happened enough times where you're aware, but that fear, that niggling fear, is always in the back of their mind. But what if this time it's not? What if this time they're leaving me? What if this time they want to end things? They want to cut the connection forever. And that is something that we are to observe. The divine masculine is asking us to observe that instead of allowing that fear to take the floor. Just observe it. You are the observer here. In order to be reassured that things are okay, you're really going to need to observe your fears and allow room for the truth of the situation, which is simply love and strengthening bonds, to come through. It's almost like in your experience, there's no way that what you're seeing, what you're witnessing from your divine masculine could possibly mean anything good. And that is just your trauma speaking. So just observe. What else do we have, divine masculine? What's going on with the divine masculines? Seek. So divine feminine, you're really sort of being asked to observe what's going on for you, and seek guidance, seek nurturance, seek signs from the universe. The divine masculine is wanting to send you signs and synchronicities. dreams are coming true. And as I said, it's hard to sort of believe that when you're in this fear-based state, Divine Feminine. But you're being asked to focus on observing what you're feeling, observing the many different aspects of yourself. Look, these are all the Divine Feminine in different form. We've got the green cloak, we've got the blue, the orange, the yellow, and this is the higher self here. The information coming through. This is the number 12. This is divine guidance. Be the observer of what's going on for you and allow the universe to show you that your dreams are coming true. Allow your Divine Masculine to give you signs and synchronicities. Every time that fear pops up, put a reminder somewhere, write it on your hand. Train yourself to really, when you feel that fear, when you have those ruminating thoughts, remind yourself to observe the thoughts instead of identifying with them. Your fear isn't trying to tell you of something that is true. It's not trying to warn you of something that is true. Just breathe. I want to read that card for you, Divine Feminine. I've got root chakra energy coming through here. I really feel like the root chakra is really going to be, helping you find balance and stability through your darkest fears today. Okay? Helping you find balance and stability through your darkest fears today. That's beautiful. Let's read Just Breathe. Step back, reconnect, rest, and recharge. So much time and effort can be expended in maintaining current relationships or in creating new ones that it's easy to forget to just stop and breathe once in a while. So there's a lot of grounding that needs to be happening here today, Divine Feminines. You're being reminded to ground every time you feel ungrounded. Find something that you can do to reground. Life is not just about connecting with other people. The most important connections you can have are with the divine and your higher self. This is a good time to take a break from your personal relationships and reconnect with your spiritual self. Set aside a few minutes every day to sit quietly and just be. In addition to caring for your spiritual self, look after your physical body. Get plenty of sleep, eat healthy foods, and exercise. Treat yourself to a movie or take a walk in nature. Step away from any cares around matters of the heart and just breathe. By taking time for yourself, you'll recharge your emotional batteries and have more energy to invest in your relationships. And I feel like this is what the Divine Masculine is needing to do right now. And they have it's almost like in this connection, they have a much better gauge for when both the twins need to recharge on their own. The Divine Masculine needs some time, some me time, and maybe you haven't been giving that to them. Not that you haven't been giving that to them, or there just hasn't been much room for that lately, or in their life they haven't had much room for that, and you're sort of feeling this distance between the two of you. It's because the focus has been on the connection for the last couple of months, last couple of weeks. And now it's just time to just take a look over here and really just focus on ourselves just for a little bit so that we can be recharged. And the Divine Masculine is really guiding his inner self, his inner child, to advocate for those needs. Yep, teach love. This is teaching love. This is showing love. This is teaching love. And needing that space away from you doesn't mean... Needing your space away from each other doesn't mean that you guys are incapable of loving each other or that there's a fault within the connection or within the relationship. That's not the case at all. It just means that... What does it just mean? I've just had my train of thought changed. It just means that my train of thought's just gone completely. It doesn't mean there's a fault in the relationship or the connection. It just means that it's also important to nurture the self. And until you both get into this, find your rhythm of flowing back and forth between focus on self and focus on connection, it will become much, much more natural. It will flow much more easily. But I think Divine Feminine, or those of you, whoever in the connection has an anxious attachment style, this focus on the self that you feel from the Divine Masculine feels scary to you because you worry and fear that they're going to leave you. But all you can do is allow them that energetic space without judgment, without ridicule, without expectation, without demands, to do that. And this is really going to heal that sacral energy. Beautiful. What else, Divine Masculine? What else do you want us to know? Okay, so they're wanting to address the fear that you still feel. Even though this all resonates for you, and it makes sense, there's still a little bit of fear. Let's pop these back. There's still a little bit of fear around, what if this time it's not just that he needs space? And it's interesting because as I'm saying this, that's a fear that I have. But as I'm saying this, I'm thinking back to a time last week, I think it was, where my Divine Masculine and I were just having a free, open discussion, joking around about how he said, yeah, well, you know that every time I need time to myself, it's not about you. I said, well, is it not about me? Because we've never openly said that to each other. And he goes, no, it's not about you. It's never about you. Why would it be about you? And I said, well, why wouldn't it be about me? So Divine Feminine, you are naturally under the impression that everything is about you, not in a narcissistic way, but because of the way that you were raised or because of past relationships you've had where you are used to being the problem. As soon as something's wrong with your primary caregiver or with your partner, in the past you have been the problem. So it's really hard for you to not sort of enter that fear zone and be hyper vigilant to your partner when they're in that state. And your partner, your Divine Masculine, is learning how to, as I said with that Simply Love card, is learning how to advocate for those needs with their inner child. They're teaching their inner child that it's actually important to speak up. Hey, I need some time to myself. I need some time to recharge. I need some me time so that I can feel ready to connect because I feel depleted right now. They're learning that they need to say that and that it's okay to say that. Listen. This is about you listening to each other. Throat chakra, speaking up. Speaking up and listen. Okay, so when Divine Feminine, when you listen in the silence, you get these insights. Okay, when you listen in the silence, you get these insights and you allow your Divine Masculine to speak up. There are things that are being said in the silence and when you observe. So through this, through what you're learning here, you're also learning that little things like this don't mean that your Divine Masculine is wanting to cut the connection or cut the relationship, or you're learning a new meaning here, which is really important, I think, for your growth. Control. You're learning how to feel more in control of your emotions and how to really regulate yourself. And it's actually interesting because I had a breakthrough with my regulation last night. I felt the most activated trauma-wise, PTSD-wise that I have in this connection. Like it really felt like everything was falling apart, even though there was no evidence other than my Divine Masculine was just not present yesterday. He was very dissociative. He needed space. We went to a family event and I could tell that he was really exhausted and didn't want to go, not because he didn't want to be around people, but because he was just really, he needed to recharge. And of course that was the last thing for me to realize. That was the last thing for me to notice. the first thing that came in was, oh my God, like he doesn't want to be with me anymore, and he's realizing it. And so it really just felt like my world was falling apart. Darkest fears were coming out to play. But through dedicated effort, I was able to, as soon as we got home, I left him in the room and I just went and had a hot shower, and I sat down in the shower and I just spent like 15 minutes just sitting there regulating myself, really grounding myself and just tapping into the silence, tapping into my higher self. And I got the truth of the situation, that he just needs some space. He just needs some time to recharge. And I was talking to my sister because she's living with us at the moment. That's another thing. There's an extra person here all the time lately. And this is not like a her fault thing or anything like that. But it's just not something he's used to. He grew up an only child. He's used to being on his own all the time. So sometimes when we're having a partner, he does need that space. And then, having someone else here all the time. And then going to a family event last night where he was expected to be chirpy and chatty. Not expected, but you know what I mean. It was just a bit too much when I don't think he really felt like he had the capacity to go. He probably would have preferred if me and my sister just went and spent time with our dad. And if I wish that I could have observed that then, because I would have been happy to just say, you know what, babe, we'll go. We'll spend time with dad. It's fine. You don't need to come. And just giving him that time to recharge. But that's okay. All we can do is just focus on that moving forward. And he's someone who has a lot of people-pleasing tendencies. He doesn't like to disappoint. And the reason I'm sharing personal stuff is so that you can see the similarities in your connection, because this is a really tricky thing. Everyone talks about, the cards and what the cards are saying from an objective level, but no one gives examples of what this energy may play out as, it may look like in twin connections. So that's why it's important for me to share. And I really felt my sacral energy as I was sitting down in the shower last night, just really meditating and grounding. And I felt this release from my sacral chakra, and it was the first time that I've really ever felt a big release from my sacral or from any of my chakras, which was amazing. And I felt regulated enough to get out of the shower and go back and go to bed. And he was still not, he wasn't ignoring me or anything, but I could tell he was still just like exhausted, and he fell asleep instantly. And for some reason, I still felt okay. And I woke up this morning, I felt a little bit of anxiety, but for the most part, my intuition, I felt safe. I feel safe. I don't feel scared. I don't feel scared for the connection. My intuition is telling me I'm obviously really tapped in, and my intuition is telling me, yeah, this is an uncomfortable time, but the connection's safe. The connection's okay. That's all it is. There's nothing more to it. And my fear is really having a timeout, which is beautiful. I managed to sort of get that under control. And when he comes home, that'll be a different story, I'm sure, but I'll just need to be practicing what I have been practicing, which is regulating myself. And for the first time, I was able to successfully regulate myself, and I'm so proud of that. Moving on, and success and growth. Moving on from old ways of coping, old coping mechanisms, old trauma responses, into something that is successful and expanding. Success and growth. Okay, so Divine Masculine, what do you have to say about what's going on for you? Obviously we know, but is there anything that you would like to sort of say to the Divine Feminines about what is going on for you? And if that's the case, please only give me information that is completely 100% accurate and true. Please don't let my ego or my emotional mind hijack these meanings. Thank you. Yep. Rest and reconsider. They just need some rest. So that they are able to embrace love. Sometimes they get overwhelmed. Sometimes they get overworked. Sometimes they feel overburdened. And the more that we give them space to do this, the more that they are going to, in the future, feel okay to ask and to advocate for themselves in that way. The less they are going to feel like they need to please us and can't disappoint us. Wow, thank you, Divine Masculine. What else? Rest and reconsider. I cannot believe that. Challenging times. Okay, so this is a challenging time for them. What's challenging? Coming together. Look at this. The Divine Masculine coming together with the Divine Feminine to embrace the connection. It's a challenging time for them to... They're being challenged to reconnect after they've had this time to rest, whereas in the past they've really struggled to come back together. They've struggled to know when to get out of that isolation. Yeah, balance. Struggling to know, identify when they're recharged and when they're reset and when it's time for them to come back together. So this little cycle here is for them to come back into balance with themselves, and this is the twins merging. But this time they're also having the opportunity to recognize, crown chakra, to recognize when it is time for them to come back to the connection. When they feel, it's almost like interoception. I don't know, you guys who are neurodivergent will understand sometimes our interoception. Like, we don't know when we're hungry, we don't know when we need to go to the toilet, things like that. It's sort of like their emotional interoception. They don't know when to go back to the connection because they're so used to being on their own. But this time there's more of an awareness. Refusing to see. Yeah, there's more of an awareness of them in the past, how they have been refusing to see. And this is probably out of fear. Daydreams and decisions. So clarify daydreams and decisions just for a sec. Love. Manifest. Observe. Believe and succeed. Okay, so this card's just confused me a bit. I don't know what direction it's going here. So it's almost like they had this maladaptive way of just like continuing to dissociate through the challenging times. Okay. And I feel like there's more of an awareness now. There's more of an awareness. Clarify coming together. There's more of an awareness of that. Some of you pearls are going to be a sign for you. For you to know that your Divine Masculine is aware on a conscious level. Please clarify coming together. Release. Yeah, they're going to be able to release like certain coping mechanisms or certain, like the refusing to see, the dissociation, and come together and to release, to make room for more love between the two of you. You want to say anything else, Divine Masculine? Heart chakra, yep. Heart chakra. So this is them having more access to their heart chakra. Seeking the truth. Their higher self is actually prompting them to have more awareness of their patterns, or just this time around, they're just going to be able to see their patterns a lot easier. Maybe because they have that space from you without that pressure. Yeah, there's like there's not a sense of perfectionism and control. Detach, yeah. Okay, so they're detaching from... Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's like when they seem detached, it's because they are so attached to themselves. They have this attachment to themselves because it makes them feel safe. Because in that moment, attachment to other feels scary and unsafe. So Divine Feminine, this might be scary for you going into this and, you know, knowingly and openly giving your Divine Masculine the space that they need, because you worry that they'll be able to come back to you. They will be able to come back to you because you have given them that space. It's almost like a natural chain of reactions. They have no other choice but to see. Yeah, look at this. It makes them feel safe. And through safety, when we feel safe, we want connection. We seek connection. They will know their interoception will be on. They will know when they have had enough, and when they seek connection, they will feel safe enough. They will feel safe enough to engage in connection. This is them having all the tools they need. Their energy has been recharged. They have what they need to move forward. That's always what the Magician card talks about. Having all the tools you need to move forward. And the energy. Sometimes we have all the tools, but we don't have the energy, and I think that's what is lacking for the Divine Masculine right now. But you don't need to worry. They will take the lead on their own coming together. They will seek you out. Things aren't stagnant. Things aren't stuck. Look at this. Healing begins and teach. So through this lesson, real healing begins for them on this specific area. Yeah, look at this heal. There's so much healing that is coming through for the Divine Masculine, and they're breaking their own chains here. Yep, they're mastering their own heart. They're mastering their own self. And they are going, success and growth. So you don't need to worry about the Divine Masculine finding their way back to you, because they will. They're ready. This is why this cycle is happening again. So give them what they need without demanding too much of them, without expecting them to come back to you emotionally at a certain time. And just trust that they have the ability to find their way back to you. I keep hearing that song, I'm coming back for you, baby, that Carly Rae Jepsen song. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys are okay. If you're struggling with this, feel free to reach out for a reading on my website. Follow this new account, like this video, and hope you guys are okay. You will get through it. Your Divine Masculine will find their way back to you, I promise.